Do you watch the news about Syria? I want you to remember something very important. Israel started bombing Syria literally hours after Assad fell. It hadn't even been 12 hours that they started bombing Syria. The prisons weren't even empty. Syrians were picking babies out of Sednaya prison. They were digging through the labyrinth trying to get people out from underground so they didn't suffocate. That is when Israel started bombing Syria. There wasn't even a centralized command. There wasn't even a power structure. There was nothing. It was merely hours. They weren't even on their own 2 feet. That is when Israel started striking Syria's infrastructure. So this whole cock and bull narrative that's been cooked up since, that's been manufactured by Israel. Do you know what Israel's been doing in Sweden? They've been funding a drug cartel that happens to be made up of Druze, but a very unpopular drug cartel that's causing problems for the rest of Druze in Syria who are trying to integrate into a very fragile country coming out of 54 years of Ba'athism. Israel started funding that militia, and that militia started committing atrocities. And two things can be true at once. That militia being funded by Israel is a vile militia responsible for human rights abuses, and al-Sharaa has done essentially nothing to expel sectarianism from the Syrian Arab army. Now twice with Alawites and now with Druze. But guess what, Israel? You're not the fucking mayor of the Middle East. Syria should be supported by the international community to hold human rights abusers within the Syrian government accountable. That's not your job, Israel, and certainly not the job of a bomb. You don't like that you lost your lapdog, the Assad regime, which you've never threatened to assassinate the same way that you're threatening to assassinate this government. That's a red flag to me. Yes, there's problems in the new Syrian government, serious lapses that people like you and Khamenei in Iran want to exploit. Still to this day, Syria has not fired a single bullet at Israel, but Israel's invaded Syria multiple times. But out. Now, this is part of Israel's project to stab Syria in the wounds of Assad and twist the knife. That's what's going on.